Perfect. Okay, cool. So we will begin in a minute or so. Is there anything that you are, I don't know, feeling in your body?
No, I just need to decompress, I think.
Okay.
And then in terms of physically, my problem area has always been my mama pouch, so below the navel. I don't know if we can do more core exercises that target below the navel area as opposed, I mean, upper is fine too, but this is really the area that I want to work on.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So then let's start on our backs and let's position the block. If you remember from class where I have you place one block on its lowest setting.
Okay.
Your shoulder blades and the other block will be on its medium setting. Just to get the heart open. So something like this. And then let me just be right back really quick. I just have to go. Okay. So as you lay here with your arms out, palms facing up, and allow the hands to rest beside the hips. Great. And really feel your breath flowing in and out. And allow the wave of your breath to flow up through your torso and as far into your chest as you can get it to be without forcing or straining. And then imagine your torso like a vase, like a container. Inhale your breath all the way up through your container into your heart. Pause for a second or two, and then exhale, release the air out. And if you feel like you want to bend your knees here, you can definitely go ahead and do that. Or keep your legs straight. So we're gonna take this Kumbhaka breathing again, and called Antara Kumbhaka, when we pause after the inhale. Smooth inhale all the way up. Pause for 2 seconds. And exhale, release the air out of the vase, out of the container. And inhale, allow the breath to flow and fill up. Pausing at the heart. And exhale, release the air out. Inhale, nice and smooth. Pause for 2 seconds. And exhale, let it go. Continue breathing, and this time we're gonna include a pause at the base of the exhale, along with a pause at the top of the inhale. So wherever you're at, take an inhale, nice and smooth. Pause And exhale, release the air. Pause at the end of your exhale for 2 seconds. Inhale, take it up. Pause. And exhale, release the air out. Now go back to your regular breathing. Nice and smooth. Now we'll begin to cultivate, to turn on our Ujjayi breath. This is kind of the perfect time to practice because you're at home and you don't really have anybody around you. So you can slightly open your mouth because it's a little easier to feel it and to hear it. And just slightly constrict the throat, creating an ocean-like sound as if you're standing in front of a mirror and you want to fog it out. So the exhale, you're definitely fogging out the mirror and you're keeping that constriction and inhale. And then exhale. We're going to continue this Ujjayi breath, whether it's with the mouth open or it's with the mouth closed. And then slowly roll off of your blocks, come onto your side and remove the blocks, place them beside the mat. And slowly lower back down. Hug your knees into your chest. Open your knees wider than your chest and your hips and rock side to side. And feel the low back pushing down. Feel the top of the buttocks making contact with the mat, not allowing it to lift up. And come back to center, and now take circles with the knee and take it to the right, as if you're drawing circles with your knee, including the breath, coming along for the ride. And bringing your knees back to center and taking the circle to the left, the opposite direction. And then while we're here, really kind of investigating and asking questions like, how's my low back feeling? Is this tender? Does that feel good? Come back to center, hold onto the right knee and stretch the left leg down. Take the knee open to the right side. Place your left hand on your left hip. And then come back to center, knee comes center. This time, take your left hand on top of your right knee and take your knee to the left, getting a little bit of a twist here, stretching out your right hand. Breathing here. You can relax your left foot if it's active right now. And then inhale the knee right back to center. Hands on the right knee. Now it's time, let's flex our left foot. Heel goes forward, toes go up. And now you feel your left thigh engaging. Breathe here. Now on your exhale, draw the navel down and then lift your shoulder blades up. Good. Pause, breathe, reach your fingertips forward. And now last step, lift your left heel off the floor. So we're doing some core stabilization. And now we're gonna crunch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top. And then inhale, lower down. Good. Let's switch. So right leg goes down, left knee comes in, bring it into the chest and then open it out to the left, bringing your right hand on your right hip. And then bringing the knee back to center, crossing the knee over, using your right hand to help you, and then stretching your left arm straight out. Coming into a nice simple twist. Feel your breath moving through your body, really activating that ujjayi. And then on your inhale, come back to center, both hands on your left knee, flex your right foot, heel goes forward, toes go up, right thigh is now engaged. Inhale and exhale, navel to spine, lift shoulder blades up, pause. Now reach your fingertips forward, getting more of core here. Lastly, lift your right foot up, keeping that right foot flexed. Breathe. Now we're gonna pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. And then inhale, lower yourself all the way down, both knees into your chest. Take the legs and tabletop them. And let's actually bring the big toes to touch and spread the knees out so you're making a diamond shape. Good. Now inhale, exhale, navel goes down. Inhale, exhale, reach forward and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Now watch and pay attention and check in with yourself. Notice if you're using your head and your neck to push you forward for momentum, or if you're really going into your core. So inhale, exhale, navel goes in, reach forward, shoulder blades off. And again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, knees can come into chest. You can rock side to side. And then we're gonna tabletop our legs, shins parallel to the ceiling. Exhale, firm the belly in, reach your fingertips forward, and this time we're gonna cross. So we're gonna reach the right fingertips over to the right heel, and then tap the left hand to the right knee. And then we're gonna switch. Left hand, left heel, and keep going. So it's just like a rocking here. Left hand to left heel, right hand to left knee. We're gonna switch, rocking side to side. Good. Stay up, shoulder blades off the mat. 10, 9, 5, 2, 1. Lower down, hug knees into chest, good job. Rock side to side. And let's lastly plant our feet onto the mat. Feet are shoulder distance apart, so check down to see that your feet are lined up with the outer hips. Press the inner feet and the outer feet here. And we're gonna do some pelvic tilts. So really reach those sitting bones down towards the heels. And you'll feel if you place your hands on your frontal hip bones, those bones protruding, you'll feel that they come up towards your chest. Now, let the pelvis go and release, and then feel that the hips are a little lower than they were when you were drawing those sit bones down towards the heels. Let's do that again. Pelvic tilt, reaching the frontal hip bones up towards the chest. Good. Now keep this. Press the inner feet and the outer feet down into the mat. Good. Reach your hands down straight on the mat, palms down. And then inhale, lift your hips up. Keep reaching the sitting bones towards the shins, the calves, towards the feet. And now slowly walk your shoulder blades underneath you and open up the chest. Interlace your hands underneath your bum. Find your breath. Keep your feet engaged. Keep the sitting bones reaching forward, and then exhale, release, and lower the hips down. Good, we're gonna do that one more time. Push the feet down, and actually, let's grab the block. Hopefully it's near you. Place the block in between your thighs. And so we'll have the block going in between on the short side. And then with the same engagement of the feet, this time now we're including our thighs. Reach the sitting bones down and then inhale, hips come up. Keep the pelvic tilt that we were working on. And then you can interlace your hands, but switch the interlace so that the opposite thumb is now on top. Broaden out through the collarbones. Feel the shoulder blades contracting towards each other. How is your breath? Good, and then exhale, lower the hips down. So we're gonna remember, you can place the block on the outside of the mat, but we're gonna remember this pelvic tilt because it's gonna come with us in other poses. Bring the knees into the chest. You can either rock up and back to come up to sitting or roll onto one side and come up into all four. So wherever you set up, make sure your blocks are at the front side ends of your mat. And let's come into all fours. Placing the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, the tops of the feet pushing down into the mat. On an inhale, chin goes up, dip the spine just a little, and broaden out through your collarbones. Exhale, lower the head, reach the spine up to the ceiling. Inhale. Keep the belly engaged as you reach the shoulder heads back. Lower your head, exhale, belly goes up into the spine. And let's continue 2 more rounds of cat-cow. Really linking your breath with your movements. When you're all done, meet me in a neutral spine and readjust your wrists so that they're underneath your shoulders. Draw the belly in and up. Reach the right foot back. Flex the foot. Heel goes back. And now level out your hips. So try to see maybe does your right hip need to go lower? Does your left hip need to draw in? And then lower the knee back down. Other side, so left heel goes up, stretch the left leg back. And again, notice what you notice. Square off your hips, make the micro adjustments you need, and then exhale, bend the knee, lower it down. Good. On an inhale, reach the right arm forward. Good. And then exhale, lift the left leg back. Keep those hips nice and squared and breathe. Now look and see if your left hand is super hyperextended. If it is, take a micro bend here. And then lower the hand, lower the knee. Opposite side. Left arm goes forward, already activating the core. Reach the right leg back. Square off the hips. Flex your foot. Hand goes down, knee goes down. Reach the right arm forward, left heel back. Use the core, so draw the navel in, round your spine and connect your elbow to your knee. Round your spine, and then reach forward and back. Straighten out, and then exhale, round your spine, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. One more, exhale, round. Inhale, reach. Lower hand, lower knee. Coming to the opposite side, drawing the navel in, reach the left arm forward. Right leg goes back, level off your hips, so really use your core. Here we go, round the spine, knee to elbow. Inhale, straighten out. Round your spine, knee to elbow. Inhale, straighten. Lower hand, lower knee. Big toes touch behind you. Spread your knees. Rest in child's pose. Forehead on the floor, on the mat. Coming back to your breath. Finding your center. Maybe seeing if you need to bring your knees together in child's pose to help your hips lower down a little, or if you need to spread them a little wider. And as you're here, let's straighten the arms, lifting the elbows off of the mat, and then slightly turning your fingers outward just a little. So this is just encouraging the external rotation of the shoulders. In other words, the shoulders won't crowd into the neck. Nice. Pressing through all 10 fingers, both palms. Shift your hips up, curl your toes underneath you, and we'll make our way into our downward facing dog. And then stepping our feet out a little wider than the hips, pushing the hips all the way back behind us, and slightly bending one knee and then the other, pedaling out your dog, but still finding that straight line in the back body. So the weight is going back rather than going into your hands. Reach, yeah, there you go. Good. And then you'll find stillness in this down dog. And slowly, you'll walk your hands back towards your feet. Feet are wider than the hips, a soft uttanasana, a soft forward fold. Let your head just hang. Release the neck muscles. And then bring your hands, interlace them behind you. Take an inhale and then exhale. Lift the knuckles up towards the ceiling. And then slightly micro bending your elbow. Just to feel a different kind of stretch. Maybe this now stretches more of your bicep. And then exhale, lower your hands onto your hips. Keep the interlace. And we'll do that again. Raise the knuckles up towards the ceiling. Bend your left knee and sway your hips to the right. And then straighten your right, bend your left knee, and knuckles go towards the left. Come back to center. Release the interlace, lower your hands down onto the mat, and then turn side to side, and nod your head yes. Bring your hands onto your hips, elbows reach back as if they're trying to connect. Keep the knees bent and inhale, reach your chest up towards the ceiling. And release the hands down. Good. Now walk up to the front of your mat and take your blocks with you. Yeah. Take your feet hips width distance. Come into Tadasana, pushing the feet down, engaging the thighs. Again, sitting bones go down to the floor, lifting the frontal hip bones up. Hands go on the outsides of the hips. Tadasana, and inhale. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling and exhale. Forward fold, softly bend your knees on the way down. Fingertips to calves. Lift your chest up. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands down. Step your right foot back. Low lunge, pause. Right knee goes down. Flatten out your back foot. Push the right hand down. As you inhale, reach your left arm up. Come into a nice little twist here. Pull the left hip back and in. Don't let it jut out to the side. Find your breath. Bend your top elbow, place it behind your back. Reach your left shoulder down and back, away from your ear. And then exhale, place the left hand down, and then reach the hips back. Flex through your left foot, getting a back leg stretch here, hamstrings. Feel your breath moving. Hips go forward, rebend the front knee, plant your hands down, charge up the back foot, step back plank. Shift your shoulders above your wrists again. And again, reach the sitting bones back towards the heels. Keep the core engaged. And exhale, downward facing dog. On a smooth inhale with both thighs engaged, lift your right leg up, flexing through that right foot. Round your spine just like we did on all fours. Push the knee into the chest. And step your foot next to your right thumb. Back heel comes down, flatten out your back foot. Left hand plants down right underneath your shoulder, and then inhale, the right arm goes up. Again, reach that right hip in and back. Not allowing it to jut out to the side. And then on your exhale, bend your right elbow, placing it behind your back. Roll the right shoulder down and away from your right ear. On your next exhale, the right hand plants down onto the mat. Shift your hips back, flex through the right foot. Breathing here, getting a nice hamstring stretch. Rebend the front knee, shift forward, charge up the back foot, pause, and then step forward. Halfway lift, so hands and calves come up towards the calves. Chest goes up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the sternum up towards the ceiling, fingertips up, bring your hands down through heart center. Sun salutation A. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips to calves, lift up. Exhale, fold, plant your hands down, step your feet back, plank. Pausing in plank. Sitting bones to heels. Lower the knees down, flatten out the feet. Core engage, we're gonna take 3 seconds to lower down. Shift forward, ready, bend your elbows, modify chaturanga, 3, 2, 1, lower down. Sliding your hands back just a little bit so that the wrists are underneath the elbows. Press the elbows in towards the body. Inhale, lift your chest up, baby cobra, and reach your shoulder heads back away from your ears. Breathe here. Exhale, lower your forehead down. Plant your forearms, your elbows down. And then place your elbows directly underneath your shoulder blades. You can lift your head here so you can have a better view of them. And see if your elbows are directly underneath your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders, or if they are splaying out. So we don't want them to splay out. We want them to be underneath, nice and aligned. And now you're going to look at the tip of your nose. You're going to reach your sternum, your heart, up towards the ceiling and forward. So it's kind of like a simultaneous action. You're really pressing through your hands, your palms, your forearms. That's firmly planted. And then you're opening up the chest. So maybe that's a better cue. So open up the collarbones and find the slight constriction in your shoulder blades once again. We're also doing our pelvic tilt, so our sitting bones are reaching back to our heels. That also helps to engage our core. Find 3 more breaths here. And then exhale, lower onto your forehead. Palms underneath your shoulders. Curl your toes underneath you. Use your knees to press you up and back, downward facing dog. Take 5 breaths in down dog. Your feet are either hips width distance apart or wider than your hips. So the goal in down dog is to move the hips back so that the weight goes into your heels, goes into the backs of the legs. Shoulders away from the ears, so give room for your neck and your shoulders. One more inhale. And exhale, release. Inhale, look in between your hands. Hop or step to the front of the mat. Fingertips to calves, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Bring your hands down through heart center. Down by your side. Tadasana. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to shins, lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands back. Step back plank. So you can either do modified chaturanga with your knees down, or you can keep your knees up for classic. So I'll just show you classic if you want to venture. Keeping the core tight, shift forward, and then you bend your elbows and you hover here for a second. You turn the tops of the feet and you straighten your elbows, straighten your arms, reach your chest through, shifting back for downward facing dog. You can either do classic or modified, or you can just take yourself back to downward facing dog and skip the vinyasa. Nice smooth breaths. And then inhale, look in between your hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Lengthen your back. Inhale, exhale, fold. Press down through the feet as you reach your arms up overhead. Bring your hands down through heart center. All the way back down to Tadasana. One more sun salutation. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, softly bend your knees on the way down. Fingertips to calves, lift your heart. Exhale, fold, plant your hands down, your feet go back for plank. Now this is where you decide and you lead your practice. I'm gonna take a modified chaturanga. Knees down, flatten out my toes. The core is always engaged in either one. Shift forward, bend your elbows, slowly lower. And then inhale to your back bend of choice. Maybe it's baby cobra, maybe it's upward facing dog. Stay and breathe. And then find your way all the way to your belly. Forehead down, reach your arms beside your body. You can either lay on one cheek or do it on your forehead. Position your feet so that they are hips width distance apart. Press down through your feet and lift your knees off the mat. So this is to engage the thighs. Sitting bones go towards the heels. Inhale, lift your chest up. Shoulders go away from the ears. Lift the arms. And then lift the feet, Shalabhasana. Take your gaze at the tip of your nose. Keep the neck nice and long. Don't crunch the neck and look forward. Or look up, I mean. Find your breath. And feel the shoulder blades, again, pressing together. Feel the heart widening. And exhale, lower down, go onto your opposite cheek. Take your arms and cactus them. So bend both elbows, palms facing down. Let's start off here with the feet, with the legs. Lift the feet off, reach the sitting bones back. And then inhale, lift the chest up, reach the shoulder heads back, and the elbows are nice in line with the shoulders, not higher. Breathe. Exhale, lower yourself all the way down. Plant your hands underneath you. Curl your toes under. Push up and back, downward facing dog. Coming into down dog. Let's bend both knees and then let's take a quick rest in child's pose, forehead on the mat. Calibrate, recenter, finding the breath. Straighten your arms if they weren't already. Press down through all 10 fingers, both palms. Lift the hips, curl the toes, shift up and back, downward facing dog. Chest goes towards the thighs, but then the ears are aligned with the arms, the inner arm. Smooth breath. Inhale, look in between your hands. Exhale, step, or hop to the front. Pause here in a forward fold. Let your head hang. Bring your fingertips to the backs of the calves and inhale, using your core, lift yourself up so that your spine is nice and straight. Notice that here you're using your core, and then exhale, lower yourself down. Softly bend the knees as you reach your torso all the way up, fingertips to ceiling, hands to heart center. Down by your side. And now let's turn and face the long side of your mat and take a nice wide stance. Let's grab your blocks here. Parallel your feet and place the blocks behind your heels. Bring your hands onto your waist and then draw your elbows back. Feel that chest opening. Good. Slightly or slide your right heel back away from your block. Turn your left toes up and over to the front of your mat. And then push into the back edge of your right foot as you bend into your left knee. So maybe here you feel or you see that you may need to widen your stance, but just see, are you stable here? Good. Now, working from the ground up, let's focus on this left outer thigh and pull it towards the back heel and in. Really not allowing the hip, the left hip, to jut out to the side, just like we were doing when we were on hands and knees. And now reach your arms out to the side and come into the full pose, warrior two. Find your drishti, your gaze point beyond your middle finger. Now, are you working that hip towards the back heel? In essence, you're also scissoring the thighs together, still acting as if there's that block in between the thighs. Good. And then exhale, reverse your warrior, reach your backhand behind your back, shift back. And then come back, warrior two, straighten. Straighten the leg. And now reach your left hand forward, cut the hips back as if someone's pulling you by a string, and then lower your hand, your left hand, onto that block, right on the outside of your left leg. Reach your top arm up, come into triangle pose. So same idea, pull the left outer hip back towards the right heel, and again, scissor your thighs together. Find your breath. Reach your top fingertips over to the front, right above your top ear. Push into the back foot, come all the way up, bring your hands to your hips, re-parallel your feet. Good. Slide the left heel back, toes turning in. So press into this knife edge, your left foot, and firm your left thigh back into its bone. Turn your right toes up and over, and then exhale, bend into your right knee. Now, if you saw, I kind of shimmied my front foot forward because I needed more of a wider stance. So adjust and fine tune so that you're stable. Good. Now pull your right outer hip towards your back foot, not letting it sway out to the side. Nice. And then reach your arms out, coming into the full pose, warrior two. Find your drishti, find your breath. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Good. And then exhale, reverse the warrior. Bring your back hand on your back, on your low back. And you can even straighten that front leg. Good. So it's really like a side body stretch. Come back, warrior two. Straighten out through your right leg. Bring your left hand on your left hip and then cut it back. So press your left hip into your hand. Good. Reach your front fingertips forward and then lower it onto your block. Nice. Now lift your left hand up and over so that your shoulders are stacking. Still pushing the weight into the back foot, but engaging your left hip. We want it to be nice and firm and stable. Find your breath. Good job. Now turn your fingertips towards the front. The palm is facing behind you, the wall behind you. Good. Now press into the back foot. Come all the way up. And then re-parallel the feet. Great. So we can move the blocks forward just in case we need them. And then turn the toes in slightly, just a tid. Bring your hands onto your hips. We're gonna do the same thing. Let's do our pelvic tilt. So frontal hip bones up, buttocks down. Yes, okay. Inhale, lengthen the torso up, and then exhale, hinge forward, lower yourself all the way down. Place your hands directly underneath your shoulders and let your head hang. Now here is where you notice, do I need a block? Am I not reaching the mat? If I do, I can bring the blocks underneath my hand. So this is a back leg stretch once again, hamstrings, and this is also a nice time to release the neck muscles. The neck muscles are the helpers. They're the, I can do it too, when in reality, it's not their job. They do a little too much, kind of like the low back. And then walk your hands, crawl yourself forward, halfway. And then exhale, walk your hands back. Maybe try bringing your hands on the, in between the feet. I'm sorry, I'm not getting this one. In line with your feet, there we go. So your hands in line with your feet. And again, if you need your blocks, bring them. Otherwise, bend your elbows and release your head. One more time, crawl the hands forward, halfway lift. And then exhale, come back down. Bring your hands onto your hips. Firm the low belly into the back. Inhale, come all the way up. Nice. Bring your heels in, your toes out. And then let's place our hands on the inner thighs here. Straighten your right arm and turn towards your left, creating traction in your right thigh, and then coming back to center and going the opposite way. And then coming back to center, we're going to do that one more time. Center and over to the right. And then straighten your legs slowly. Bring your heels to center. And then walk up to the front of your mat. Pressing through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up, and then exhale. Sink the hips back, come into a chair pose. Bend your elbows, and we're gonna do that same thing. We're gonna cactus our arms, and then inhale, straighten arms. Exhale, cactus, bend the knees, chair pose. Inhale, reach up. And then keep that pelvic tilt going on. Sit bones go down. Exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows. This time, bring your hands to heart center. And exhale, rotate to your right. Getting a nice little twist here. Come back to center, rotate to your left. And then release and forward fold. Bring your hands onto your hips. Slowly, slowly, slightly micro bend the knees. Come all the way up to standing. Okay. So now we're going to get into our back bend. Bring your blocks with you. And if you need padding for your knees, bring your mat or your blanket. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to set up. Go ahead. I'll just talk before anything. We're going to set ourselves up so that our chest, our hips are touching the wall, okay? Our knees are hips width distance apart, and our heels are parallel to our knees as well. So we don't want our heels fanning out or coming in too close together. We want them to be parallel with each other and in line with our knees. Now, while you're here, grab your blocks and put the blocks on the outsides of your heels. Okay, great. Okay, so now we're going to get into our pelvic work that we've been doing, and I'm just going to readjust my camera so that you can see more of me. Okay. Good. So, reach the sitting bones down now towards the backs of the knees, or maybe just straight down, yes? Frontal hip bones go up, and slightly lean the chest back just a tad. Keep the work, use the core, and then slowly bring your hands to your hips. Get a little more feeling there, a little more of that contraction in the shoulder blades that we've been doing, yes? Now lean a little back and see, maybe can I put one hand on my block? Can I put the other hand on my block? Am I able still to use my pelvic tilt, use my core in this back bend? Can I open up my chest a little more? And maybe the last thing I want to do is release the head. To come out of it, bring one hand on your hip, use your core, and lift yourself up. Nice job. And then if you want, we can all just take a little seat here. And close the eyes. Let's breathe a little bit. So if any of this doesn't feel good in your body, we've already done Shalabhasana, we've done Sphinx, we've done Baby Cobra, and those can be your options, and even Bridge. And we can take this pose and take it one more time if you're up for it. If not, you can always do your back bend of choice on the mat. So if you're gonna take it, reposition the blocks on the outsides of the hips. Now it's a strenuous pose, so we are working. It looks really easy, but there's a lot going on. We want to keep contact with the wall as far as our hips go. So let's start by bringing our hands to our waist, elbows trying to connect behind, reaching the buttocks down, lifting the heart up, keeping the core in contact, slowly lowering down, and then slightly bringing one hand to each block. Thighs are still engaged, and then last we can do is release the head. Slowly come onto your fingertips on the blocks. Bring yourself back up and then lower down. Bend your knees. All right, great. So we're gonna come back to our mats. And let us take our blanket, our towel, whatever we're using. We're gonna sit on it. And so here's another one that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, but I thought, why not? We're just playing and having fun. So we're gonna bend our knees, plant our feet on the floor to start. And you're gonna take your left foot through the right. And we're gonna lift the right up and place it over. Now, notice, okay, so if it's too much, here's an option. You're gonna lie on your back and you're gonna do the same thing with the left underneath and the right on top. And you're gonna grab the shins and pull it back towards you. So we'll do this together. You want a slight flexing of the feet here. And this is a good alternative because it keeps our back nice and straight. We're still getting the stretch. And we're still honoring our body because that's the most important thing. Full breaths in and out. And then release and switch the overlap. Take the left on top. Bend your knees. Flex your feet and grab onto the shins, the ankles, the calves, wherever you find yourself in this pose. Our main ingredient is to really breathe. So the work is in the legs, it's in stretching the legs. Let's release the shoulders down. We're adding our weight, but we're not pushing down. We're allowing gravity to do more of the work. And then slowly come out of the pose. We're gonna roll up to seated. Still going to use that support underneath our bottom. Now take your left foot, again, thread it in between. Take an inhale, lengthen up, and exhale. Revolve over to your right. drop your right hand down, and then either bring your hand on the outside of the knee, or you can cross it over. Each inhale, your spine grows tall, and it's each exhale from the pit of the navel, revolve over. Now you're more than welcome to reach your left knee forward on the twist, just so you can experience more of the twist. You don't have to lock your hips here. They don't have to be rooted. They can move. And then come back to center. Both feet onto the floor. Right foot underneath left knee. Lengthen up nice and tall. Revolve over to your left. Left hand goes down. Either place your right hand on the outside of your knee or cross your elbow on the outside of the knee. Both ways, you're still getting a twist. One is not better than the other. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, revolve. Anytime you want to revolve, navel goes in. It comes from the pit of the navel. So there's a lot of activation in the core. Exhale, come back to center. Take your feet, your legs out, coming in Upavishta, coming into Upavishta. The legs don't have to be super open or super spread. They can be closer together if that's where you are in your body. Flex your toes, reach the arms up, lengthen the torso, twist over to your left, lengthen, then reach forward, and then lower your hands on the outsides of the leg. Crawl your hands back so that your chest is still opening. And then feel that lengthening in the spine. Really support yourself with your hands. And then again, inhale, lengthen halfway. Straighten the elbows, good. And then exhale, bend and open up the elbows. And now you can just fold over your leg. If you need to really bend your left leg, really bend it, it doesn't need to be straight. We don't want to overstretch our legs. Slowly crawl your fingertips back towards your hips, lengthen through the spine. Reach up again. Really grow nice and tall. Revolve to your right. Pause. Lengthen again. Exhale. Hinge forward. Lower the hands on the outsides of the leg. Still feeling that extension in the spine. So bring your hands back towards you just a little more. Nice. Yeah, because we still want to create an opening of the chest. If my hands are forward, I'm closing it off. So this is encouraging the broadening. And we're gonna come up halfway, lengthen up, and exhale, bend the elbows out. Now we can let our body roll, fold, and you can again really bend into that right knee. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look up and you can see that my knee is really sticking up because it hurts me when I do too much, when I stretch too much. It then becomes counterintuitive to the body. But if you are okay with keeping your legs straight, then go for it. Crawl your hands back towards your hips, lengthen out, and then bring your legs together. Paschimottanasana, bring your hands on the outsides of the hips. Again, open the collarbones, open the chest. Flexing through the feet, pushing the heels down just to encourage a little micro bend in the knee. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Micro bend in both knees. Hands on the outsides of the legs, broaden out through the collarbone first, and then exhale, round the spine. Allow your knees to bend even more. Just fold over your legs. Crawl the hands back, slowly lengthen the spine up. Bring your knees into your chest, and then we will lower ourselves onto our mat. Take your feet hips width distance apart. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Draw your right knee towards the bottom of the mat, the base of the mat, the end of the mat. Stay here if you feel a stretch. Flex through the right foot, or you have the option to lift your left foot. Get a little deeper stretch here. Or another option is to interlace your hands behind the left thigh. Now, if this is too much for you, you always have the option to place a block underneath your left foot and allow this to be more of like a passive stretch. You're still shifting your right knee away from your chest. There's still work in this pose. Let's come back to center, lower the right foot, and then if you want to use the block, place it just in front of your right foot. Let's start off with the foot being on the mat. Cross the ankle, the left ankle. Draw your left hip away from your chest. You can even place a hand crease in your hip crease, your left hand in your hip crease. Draw the hip away from your chest. You could stay here or lift your right leg off your mat. And again, you have the option to interlace behind your right thigh. And if you can reach your left elbow, if your left elbow touches your left thigh, you can use it to push the thigh away from you. But if it's too twerky, if you can't really get it, then don't bother. If you want to use the block, go ahead and release your foot down onto your block. Come back to center and let's take a twist here. So you can either stretch the right leg, do the same twist that we did in the beginning of the class, or you can take the knees as wide as the mat and you can windshield wipe the knees side to side. Or you can do both. We have enough time. Slowly, slowly come back to center. Need to take the other side. Go ahead and finish. Last and final pose. Let's take happy baby. Bend your knees, soles of the feet towards the ceiling. Grab onto the outsides of the feet. Push the feet towards your body. Feet wider than the hips. And rocking here side to side. Come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Lift your head. Squeeze yourself into a tiny little ball. And exhale. Release your limbs, yourself down onto your mat. Feet a little wider than the hips. Arms, the outsides of your hips. Allowing the body to relax, no longer controlling it, no longer controlling the breath. Full surrender. Shavasana. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Take your arms up overhead. Take a nice stretch from top to bottom. Maybe yawn. Bring your hands to heart center in gratitude. And I wanted to read an excerpt from this book called The Fifth Agreement. And it's by Don Miguel Ruiz and Don Jose Ruiz, father and son. It says, once you accept yourself just the way you are, you no longer have any judgments about yourself. Once you accept everybody else just the way they are, you no longer have any judgments about them. Then something incredible happens in your world. You find peace. You are not in conflict with yourself, and you are not in conflict with anyone else. So I know that there's a lot of stuff going on, and I feel like the more we can accept and love ourselves, we are then able to accept and love others for who they are, no matter how they look like, and even what they do. Maybe if we don't agree with it, it doesn't have to be our truth or our life. I think we now more so than ever need to unite rather than make that separation bigger, because there's already a division. I think now we need to really focus on the unity and finding love within our hearts. So if you can bring your hands to your heart center. Once again, pressing your thumbs into your chest, reminding us that we all come from pure love. Bringing our thumbs towards our lips, reminding us to speak words of love. Knuckles of the thumbs press in between the eyebrows, our third eye, to remind us that we're all connected through this love. We are all one. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me, and thanks so much for showing up to your mat. Namaste. Ugh. I don't know how to do it. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, I have to unmute myself. Thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome. I'm not good at
Have
this
a great.
muting and stuff, but thanks for bearing with me. I hope that was a good practice.
It was. Thank you very much.
Heads up. There's smoke in the entryway. The alarm may sound.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.